Okay, we're going to get started. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Today, we'll talk about DataSelf Analytics in Tableau and focus on our year-end specials. My name is Johnny Girardi. I'm DataSelf's founder and CEO. Our agenda, we'll talk about first a little bit of a product demo showing our rapid-fire analytics. We'll talk about some concepts on how to extract maximum value from your BI investment. We'll take a look at another product demo looking at a 360-degree view of your business. We'll talk about the year-end promo. And then at the end, we'll have a Q&A. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please go to the webinar, webinar panel and just type in as you have questions. And at the end of the session, we'll address them all. Okay, so let's get started with a rapid fire analytics. So I'm going to go to DataSelf, and actually let me sign out first. Suppose I'm going to log into the DataSelf framework. There's a web portal. It can be behind your firewall. It can be on the open internet. You can use our hosted services. Anyhow, suppose I'm logging to this portal as a user. When I log into the portal, I can decide the landing page of DataSelf. It can be any report or it can be any dashboard. In this case, it's just showing this year's sales by company. In the sample database, I have a multi-company system. I'm consolidating 3 different organizations together, and I'm looking sales this year by company. Well, what if as a user, as a power user, I actually want to see a new dashboard that is not available? So I want to be able to just go here, start with any query that I'm looking at, and completely change it to something different and save it for later use for myself and for other people. So I'm going to show you how easy that is. So right now I'm going to go into the power user mode. This is not for everyone. Many users, they will not want to learn how to create reports from scratch. What I'm going to show you right now is for those who want to do it, I'm going to show you how easy and how fast things are. So I'm going to change this report. I'm going to create a new one from scratch. I have the edit button that is only available for power users. I click the edit button, and then I go into the edit mode. So now I can actually change this report extensively, or I can create something from scratch. And what I'm going to do in my example is I'm going to create a new dashboard from scratch where I want to show sales this month by customer and product. I want to see, actual sales numbers by the penny. I also want to see a trend of sales in website visitors side by side in the course of the whole business history. And then I want to see sales by geography, how much I'm selling by state across US and Canada. And put these 3 views together in a dashboard. So I want to show how easy that is. And what I want to show is, if you know how to do it, if you want to do these kind of things, it's easy. It's fairly straightforward. So I'm going to start from scratch. I don't want to see multi-company is already consolidated. I want to clear this sheet. So I'm going to say clear the sheet. So I get a blank page. And just before I start showing you, I want to show how much data I'm going to be querying on the fly right now. So I'm going to take number of records, double click, and it's showing here that I'm working with 31 million records. Everything I'm going to do right now in my ad hoc analysis and build this dashboard from scratch, I'm hitting a 31 million record revenues system. I mean, there's a lot of sales transactions behind these numbers. And things will still run fast, even though we're running this large database. All right, so actually let me rename this. I'm going to call sales by customer. So my first part of my exercise is I want to see sales by customer this month. I want to break down by product and also show invoice number. So I'm going to bring all of this information together. How can I do it? Well, I come here to this dimensions. I find customer, which is right here. I expand it, and I want to use customer name. So I double click customer name. Right there, I see all the customers in my database. I want to see sales by customer. So I double click sales, and right there I see total sales by customer in the whole company history. Again, this is a multi-company. I'm already consolidated 3 companies together, and I'm seeing customers across all of these organizations in my database. Who's my top customer, by the way? I can just sort very quickly, and there it is. That's my top customer in the whole company history. Well, I want to see sales, let's say this week. Well, if I want to add time, I can double-click invoice date. And by default, I'm adding all the years in my database. So I have in my sample database 7 years worth of data. Well, I want to see more details. I want to see a quarter, let's say. So expand from year to quarter. There it is. I expand from quarter to months. There it is. Very easy, very quickly. I'm seeing my whole company history, all the sales by month by customer across 31 million records. Actually, I want to see by, let's say, by week instead. So I want to see instead week number. Suppose, my business, we're looking on a weekly basis. There it is in the whole company history, all sales for all customers on a weekly basis. Now, but I only want to see, let's say, this week's sales. I don't care the past. It was just too much information here. I want to filter it. No problem. I take invoice date, drag and drop into my filters. So now I have a filter that I can change and slice and dice my data. I can select the periods, or if I always want to see this week, I can choose relative date. Right now it's showing only today's sales, and actually I want to change to weeks. So there it is. Now I have sales this week very easily. And if in the future I want to change this to quarters, months, years, weeks, I just change here. Maybe I want to see 3 weeks instead. Maybe I want to see 2 weeks instead. Whatever it is, it's point and click. Very easy, very fast to change. Well, my report I want to see this week. So right now I'm seeing sales by customer this week. I also want to see sales by customer by product and invoice number. How can I add them? It's pretty much drag and drop. If you know how to drag and drop, you can do it. So if I want to see product, I come here, I find product description, and I drag and drop, and I put it into my rows. So there it is, by customer, by product, I have sales. What if I want to see the invoice number? Same thing, it's drag and drop. I find the field, which is right here, and I drag and drop, let's say between customer and product. Just drag and drop. And right there you have by customer, by invoice number, by product, sales. Very easy, very fast. Okay, so this is the first part of my report, of my dashboard. The second part is I want to see sales in website visitors together in the course of my company history by month. So I'm going to create a new sheet. So now I'm going to create a new sheet. I want to see sales, so double click sales. I'm going to double click invoice date. So I have the sales by year so far. And I want to see by month. So I select by month. And right now I see sales in the whole company history by month. I also want to see website visitors. I double click website visits. So I have website visitors in the bottom and sales in the top. And I want to put them together so it's easy to see the trends. So I'm going to say, hey, change this into a bar in line types together. There it is. And let's just make this sales a little smaller bar so it's a little visually nicer to see. There it is. So now sales are the blue bars and website visits are yellow, the orange lines. You might be asking, how can I see website visitors that come from Google Analytics along with my sales? Well, in DataSelf, we can combine data from any data source, from your ERP system, from your CRM system, from your payroll, from your Excel sheets, from your Google Analytics, from your social media. We can bring all of the data together. We blend it in a data warehouse or in this analytics platform. And once we do that kind of setup, which is a little bit more technical, but it's a one-time setup, once we do that, now users, regular users, business people with little training, they'll be able to do things like this just by drag and dropping. So it becomes really easy and really fast. Okay, so that's the second part of the dashboard. The last part is I want to see sales by state and how big my deals are. So I want to see sales by customer state. This could be ship to state, could be any address. I want to see invoice sizes. I want to see sales, and I want to see everything on a map. So as the tool show me this on a map, there it is. And I want to make the bubbles a little bigger. Bigger bubbles, bigger sales. And the slices of each of these bubbles is the aggregation of my large, medium, and invoice deal. So in a few clicks, I have this nice insight of how much I'm selling for each state and how much I have for each of the small, medium, large, more large invoices. Cool, so I just created those 3 reports, and now I want to bring them together in a dashboard. So now I'm going to create a dashboard instead. And I wanted this dashboard to automatically adapt to the size of my screen. If it's a mobile device, if it's a big screen, doesn't matter. And I want to see the geography analysis. I want to see the trend analysis at the bottom. And I want to see the detail report on the left. As you can tell, it's drag and drop. If you know how to drag and drop, you can do it. It's very straightforward, it's very intuitive, and it's very fast. Again, I'm querying a large data set, but it still, things takes pretty much seconds to run. Okay, now, once I build this, I can save this dashboard for future, for my own use or for everyone else. I can come here and say, hey, I want to save it as, I'm going to call one my dashboard. So just save it as one my dashboard, and I click save. Now the dashboard is being published on this web server. Now I can close it. And let's say this dashboard is for all my salespeople. I can call and tell, hey guys, can you please now open dashboard 1? And they'll find dashboard 1, they're going to be looking at just like this. And let's say, suppose I'm on the West Coast. I want to see how I'm doing the West Coast. I select those months, those states on the West Coast. And by default, the tool would automatically filter to show sales by customer on the West Coast and how is the historical sales and website visits. If I choose East Coast, or if I choose any combination of files, right there I get the answer. I'm doing this with a mouse, but I could be using an iPad or a tablet or even a smartphone, and I could be using my fingers to select things in any shape or form. Very easy, very fast. Remember, I'm hitting 31 million records, and still the reports and dashboards run really, really fast. And that's the beauty of DataSelf Analytics. Easy and fast. Let me just show you here on the next slide. With DataSelf Analytics, first of all, you can give access to your users, and you can segment which users will have access to what and when and how. You define that. You have policies, but you can give access to anyone to be able to access anytime and kind of anywhere using desktop, web, and mobile devices, as well as by email. So you give them access, you give users access to access information anytime, anywhere. And for users, you can define how much they can change in a report. Maybe some users, they cannot change anything. Maybe some users can change filters. Some users can change everything, or they can change everything, but they cannot save back. The security framework is very comprehensive and will allow you to control what each user can do in the framework. So very easy to use, very easy to set up from an IT standpoint. Very importantly, it runs super fast. It does not matter how much data you have. It doesn't. It doesn't matter how many data sources you have. You might have multi-company, multi-currency. You might be bringing your ERP, your CRM, a lot of data together. It doesn't matter. We have found in our client base the 10-second rule. What is the 10-second rule? Most business people today, they are busy and not very patient. So if you have reports that take longer than 10 seconds to run, guess what? Most business people will not wait, and those reports are kind of a waste of time for everyone. So we have designed our system, and we can fine-tune it to pretty much guarantee that all reports will run under 10 seconds. Sometimes it's impossible, but it's more like an exception, and usually it's because the user is not doing what they're supposed to. But overall, all reports and dashboards in DataSelf will run in seconds, regardless of how much data you have. It's really impressive. The 10-second rule is really impressive because, again, if business people will have to wait, they'll not use it, and it is a waste of everyone's time. And with DataSelf, we guarantee that. Okay, so let's talk about maximizing your BI, maximizing the value from your BI investment. Many organizations, when they start with a BI project, they go through what I call the baby steps. They are excited to get into this framework where they can give users easier, better access to the information. Quite often at the beginning, the project is very small, it's very focused. Let's say the company wants to see better sales analysis, or maybe they want to focus on the CRM opportunities, or maybe they have some Excel files, or maybe they want to see some financial information. It's a very narrow, focused approach. And quite often, people using Excel to do that, or they poke around with different tools. And quite often there's success, and they can do a few things forward and make it nice. And that's how it starts. Now, what happens almost consistently in all organizations that we have worked with, when you look several months out, and probably even years out, what's going to happen is something like this. The very small project, when you started using whatever tool, maybe Excel or Tableau, Power BI, eventually will grow into a much more comprehensive BI platform. At the beginning, maybe you're only looking at sales, or only at financials, or only at cash flow. But eventually you'll have most piece of your ERP incorporated into the BI. If you have CRM, you're probably going to have a lot of CRM information, Excel files that you use for budgeting, forecasting, and other information. Most likely Google Analytics, other systems like, point of sales and professional services software, Internet of Things, or social media, others. Eventually, most of the data that is important for data analysis will be incorporated into this BI solution, and your business will be much more efficient when it comes to data analysis and analytics. It's a great initiative, and it will help your decision makers be on top of the trends. But what is going to take to get that job done? And how long is it going to take you to get that job done? Let's talk about it. In order to do this successfully, in order to bring all of these things together, make it easy and make it fast, to give decision makers information anytime, anywhere, what you'll need is expertise, people that have expertise in your data sources. They need to know the ERP system, the CRM, whatever you have as data source. You'll need people that knows those data sources. It will know where to find the information, what tables to use, what fields to use, how to bring them together. Now, if you want to combine that data with another system, you will have to have expertise in two systems now, and then be able to understand how to put them together. So one piece of the puzzle is expertise in your data sources. Second is, you will need some kind of data warehousing framework, maybe a data warehouse, maybe several data marts in a data warehouse. Anyhow, you'll need data warehousing expertise to bring the data outside of the data source, to massage it, to clean it, to optimize it, to organize it, to make it easier and faster to decision makers. So you will also need people with expertise in data warehousing. You will also have expertise in your analytics platform. When people start with the baby steps, quite often they start with whatever that they have that they think is comfortable. Again, can be Excel, can be Access, can be SQL, Tableau, Power BI, whatever the tool is. They start with something, but very likely if they didn't think hard enough, at one point they'll have to scratch the old thing and replace with something more robust, something faster, something easier. So you have to have expertise in the analytics platform to know which one to select and how to maintain it, how to do security, and all the things related to the BI platform. Then you also have business analyst role. There will be people talking with your decision makers to understand their questions, to understand the requirements, and being able to translate those technical, those business requirements back with this whole team to build, to customize, to fine-tune the whole thing to deliver awesome value. And if you have people doing all of this, awesome. You'll get it done, you'll be successful, and your business will be so much more efficient with great data analysis. Now, to do all of these things, you'll need time. You'll need time to connect the dots, to integrate the systems, to roll out to different departments, to set up security, to train people. It just takes time. And if you start from scratch, typically to incorporate all of this, typically it's years of work doing this, fine-tuning and developing. It's worth it, but it takes time to connect the dots. Now, if you do this from scratch, starting from scratch, using your own team or using a BI consulting company or a reseller, if you do that pretty much from scratch or from a very small initial starting point, guess what? Be sure to maintain these people that are building your solution in the long run, because you'll need them. When you upgrade your systems, when you change your systems, when you have to do maintenance, if your BI team has changed, good luck. You'll have to hire new people. The new people will likely not understand what was done in the past. They'll be rewriting things, scratching things. And I've seen many BI projects to have a huge total cost of ownership because changes in the team. So if you're going to build this from scratch, be sure to have a BI team or maybe a consulting company that will be able to support in the long run to be sure it's smooth, its transitions will not be rewriting, and will continue to grow smoothly and easily. So those are the recommendations, regardless of what direction to take from a BI standpoint. Now, if you're here, it's most likely because you have one or some of these data sources. These are very popular mid-market vendors that sell ERP, CRM systems, and some other systems. So very likely you're here because you have one or several of these. And then I have very good news for you. Instead of starting from scratch, pulling, your financials, your sales, your inventory, your services, and everything else slowly and taking months and years and hiring people, instead of, taking months to years to build this, with DataSelf, in a matter of days, we can deliver you more than 5,000 reports, dashboards, and KPIs. There's a ton of things out of the box covering sales, inventory, financials, P&L, balance sheet, financial analysis, payables, receivables, purchasing, services, work orders, CRM opportunities, tech support, activities, account management. There's a lot of things out of the box. So you don't have to start from scratch. You can give your business users a lot of insights because we provide this comprehensive out of the box that will dramatically reduce the time to get value. So what DataSelf is a lot of reports out of the box. We have SQL Server data warehousing, data marts, data warehousing, whatever it takes. We will architect a solution to tackle your needs. We do this framework in a fairly code-free environment, so the data warehouse has very little programming, easier and faster. And for the analytics platform, we use Tableau, which has been considered by Gartner as the gold standard analytics platform for the last 5 years in a row. So very easy to use and very fast. So that's pretty much what's DataSelf is. If you have any of these source systems, we can dramatically reduce the time that it takes to deliver value to get maximum return from your investment in BI. So let's take a look at the second part of the product presentation. Now I'm going to show you some examples of a 360-degree view of your business using DataSelf. And the idea is, as a business person, maybe you are a salesperson, a VP of sales, you are in a department of your business. And typically, even as a salesperson, quite often you need to see information across different of your systems. Maybe in your ERP, you need to see actual sales, open sales orders. You need to see opportunities from your CRM information, and maybe accounts receivables. Who has late, receivables past due? Maybe you're in the financial. You might want to see information coming from your financial system, from your inventory, from everything. The idea is business people, decision makers, quite often they need to have a view of their own function across different data sources. And without a solution like DataSelf, usually those things are complicated or time consuming and require Excel, copy and paste, and wait until someone puts together information and send by email or by, like sharing a PDF file. So I want to show you how that works with DataSelf. So I'm going to switch back to DataSelf. And here, as the DataSelf user, where I created this dashboard from scratch, now I want to start jumping into other reports and dashboards that are unique to my needs. So my first example I'm going to show is actually a financial dashboard. And as a user of the system, there are many ways that I can consume information from DataSelf. One of them is going to my favorites, which reports and dashboards I'm looking at all the time. So I come here and say, hey, I'm the CFO. I want to see my CFO dashboard. So I click the CFO dashboard. Let me put in full screen because it's a kind of busy dashboard, but it's very insightful. This particular dashboard was actually created by one of my clients, the CFO of one of my clients. The CFO, which is not a IT person, he's a CFO. He actually built this dashboard from scratch about 6 months after they started using DataSelf. 6 months into the project, he was comfortable with a lot of the drag and dropping capabilities and charting capabilities, and he decided to start from scratch this dashboard. It took him hours to build, but he told me, Johnny, I want to do it myself. I know what my needs are, and if I have to explain to someone else, it's going to take a lot of time to talk and go back and forth. I know DataSelf is easy, is intuitive. I want to do it, and let's see how it gets together. Anyhow, he built this dashboard from scratch. This dashboard has 11 different data sources together. There is AR, AP, payroll, money in the bank today, sales orders, CRM information, receivables, invoices, Google Analytics, financial information, inventory information. There is a ton of different data sources, all coming together in a single dashboard, all consolidated. When he built this dashboard, he organized things in a very natural way for his own eyes. So he has on the left side what is called lead metrics. Lead metrics are looking into future transactions, like cash flow. Cash flow is future transactions. He's looking at open receivables, open payables, payroll for the next 60 days, and how much money he has on cash today. So he has all of these 4 pieces of information together on this chart. And by adding these metrics, he has the projected cash flow for the next 60 days. And he has this line, which is his line of credit. So as long as the projected cash flow doesn't cross the line of credit limit, he doesn't have to worry about cash flow. He goes about his other things. If one day he gets a notification that a client will not pay a big invoice or something like that, that might be affect cash flow, he can do what if scenarios right here. Hey, this payment is no longer coming. Let me extract out of my view. Right there, now I crossed my line of credit and I need to do something about it. So very quickly, very easily on this dashboard, he can place these what if scenarios, and based on the scenario, he can decide if he needs to do something about it or not. But the idea is to be easy, to be insightful. Every day when he logs into DataSelf, he takes a look at this dashboard, he makes decisions, and he moves on depending on what he's seeing. This whole dashboard is very interactive. Let's say I come to AR aging and I click on any of these bars. This dashboard will drill down into a specific tab. We have several tabs. Now I'm looking into the AR aging tab, where it shows all customers with aggregation of aging by aging buckets. And then if I choose a particular customer here, the report will narrow down which invoices are open for this particular customer. The way this dashboard works is if he clicks on any of this information, he can actually email the customer from inside the dashboard. He can open the actual invoice or even seeing this customer in CRM. So from this dashboard, he can point or he can jump into different sections and different systems in his organization to see more details. Or let's say he wants to see geography analysis from Google Analytics. He can come here, hey, how am I doing on the East Coast? He selects East Coast. He sees how many hits he's having on the East Coast. And hey, I actually want to see more details. He can drill down and go into a much more detailed insight that shows last year, this year, in number of visits. Darker is more visits, and he can tell New York and Florida growing a lot in number of visits since last year. Very easily, very intuitively, he can get that insight. Or let's say I see that red overall is something that is not good, that is above or my budgets. In this example, I cross my maximum on hand. I click on this red bar on my inventory assets. I go into a different report that shows me the financial side of the inventory assets, but also the quantity, the top products by cost on hand in different warehouses. So if I choose my top product by cost on hand, I see at the bottom that most of my cost is on the China warehouse, and I can just keep on putting my mouse over and seeing the other items and everything else. Very interactive and very insightful. This kind of dashboard can be created and customized for any user or any group of users. It can allow people to drill down into different pieces, very controlled, very secured, and there's no way to break it. A secured framework for different users. Let me show some other examples. Let me go now into seeing some service analysis. Some organizations also look closely at services. They have people doing maintenance for their clients. So this is a kind of a dashboard similar to the CFO that brings together information from different systems in plots on an easy way so you can start focusing on metrics that make sense. And again, you can have several tabs to look at different particular metrics of those initiatives. You can have heat maps. This is a kind of a popular thing for organizations that need to manage resources based on demand. So in this example, this heat map is showing by week. The current week would be 22. What is the expected demand of resources based on past history and current orders on my pipeline? So I have a kind of a view for the next few weeks. And if I'm going to be running out of resources because I'm going to be super busy, maybe I need to hire some additional people, augment my resources, schedule things around to be able to meet demand. Anyhow, the tool allows you to analyze, slice and dice the data, so these kind of decisions can become much more intuitive. Now, what if I want to find a report that is not part of my favorites? How do I go about finding reports out of my 5,000 plus? Well, I can go to Home, and now I'm going to search for a report. Suppose I want to see sales by customer, right? So I type sales by customer. In DataSelf, there are 684 reports showing sales by customer in all sort of different perspectives. There are charts, there are grids, there's a lot of reports. Is too much? Yeah, it's a lot. So maybe you need to filter this a little further. Maybe you want to see sales by top customers. Okay, sales by top customer now. There's 246. Let's make top customers. There you go. Now I have 15 reports showing sales by top customers. And that's one that I was looking for. Top customer by sales change since last year to date. I click it and I see these are my top customers that grew the most in sales since last year to date. And the size of the bar relates to how much they grew. And these are the ones who declined the most since last year to date and how much they declined. The same information showing here on this grid. So that's another way of finding reports. Just search by keywords and you get narrow down the list and then you can find them. You can also do alerts. So let's say I'm going to show an alerts example. So I have here a simple dashboard showing revenues and gross profit. Revenues are the blue bars. Gross profit are the circles. What if I only care about this report when the gross profit goes above 55%? Otherwise, I really don't care. Well, I come here, I click gross profit, I click alert, I select the criteria, only above or equal to 55. I want to receive an email saying gross profit percentage, and I want to receive this only when it happens. And who should receive? Me and famous Joe Doe. And that's it. I click alert, and that's it. Now I forget about this perspective until I get an email telling that something went over the 55%. And here's an example. This would be an email that I would receive when that happens, showing me something crossed the line. And if I email this, if I forward this email to someone else, let's say to Mary, Mary can open the email and say, wow, that's awesome. I want to be part of this alerts distribution list. She simply clicks add me to this alert. That's it. No need to call Johnny, no need to call IT. She just clicks and adds herself. Maybe I want to be removed. I click remove. I get out of the list. Just I do it by myself. Maybe I want to change it. I want to change this alert to be 60%, not 55%. I click edit alert. It goes right back into it. I change to 60. I click save, and that's it. Self-service. Give your users the ability to decide what's important for them. And at the same time, you can decide what's important for everyone. So you can control what's important for everyone, for a team of people, and also let individuals decide what they want to do by themselves. And you control what each user can do. So very self-service and in a very controlled environment. All right. So in a nutshell, what do DataSelf Analytics delivers? Ease of use. As you could tell in my first demo, I was able to build from scratch something very quickly, very easily, just by pretty much dragging and dropping. So if you can do drag and drop, you can do it. We have the 10-second rule. Every report should run under 10 seconds, otherwise it's almost worthless. Doesn't matter how much data you have. With our framework, you can give users or the right group of users access anytime and anywhere, and it's secured, and you control that. In a matter of days, we can deliver over 5,000 reports and dashboards, covering pretty much all or most information from your ERP and CRM, so dramatically cutting the time that it takes to get the job done. So these are the things that from a license standpoint we deliver. So all of the above we deliver in a matter of days. And as importantly, we provide long-term peace of mind. We're here to be a partner of your BI journey. We're here to deploy the solution, to train your team at any capacity. If you only want to learn the user interface, we'll teach you. If you want to learn how to maintain the whole system, we'll teach you. If your BI team changes in the future, no problem, you call us. We will be your BI team or part of it until you hire someone else. We can train the people and they take off. Or you can be your ongoing BI partner. As you upgrade your ERP system, as you change your systems from one ERP to another, from one CRM to another, our framework has been designed to make all of those things easy and almost transparent sometimes. We're here to give you peace of mind in the BI, so you can focus in analyzing your data, not in maintaining this impressive but still sophisticated BI framework. That's what we do, deliver in a nutshell. So let's talk about the year-end promo. Again, you have to have one of the systems to take advantage of the year-end promo. The framework that we're providing, the promo is for an on-prem as well as fully hosted, so you decide how this would be deployed. In a nutshell, if you go with our entry-level monthly subscription, it starts at about $1,000. So it's a very low cost per month to get started with all of those benefits. And again, this is entry-level monthly subscription. If you want to know details, contact me so I can give you more specifics of how this works. Now, if you go with the year subscription, then we provide additional discounts, 2.5% off for user licenses, 5% off for the first template, and 10% off for two more templates. If you're upgrading your ERP or if you're acquiring a new ERP or CRM systems, we have additional discounts. We just need to see the details to give you more information. And also, we always look specifically at your needs, where you are, and what can you do. And we try to do our best to accommodate even our discounts to help you move forward sooner than later. And why we do that? Because we know that once we start to give your management easy access to their data in seconds, running things in seconds, they'll get excited, and months out, years out, they're going to be doing a lot more with us. So we want to make it easy for you to get the feet wet, to move forward, to become successful in your BI journey. We have the platform and we have the expertise to do that. So you can count on us. Again, for the promo, talk specifically with us. We'll look at your case. We'll do our best to be able that our system, we can come up with an arrangement that will work for organization to move forward. I'm going to open the Q&A. So if you have questions, we'll be addressing. So let's see. Yes, we have a few questions. First question is from Karen. I'm using SEI for Sage X3, and it's very slow. We have tons of data. Would DataSelf run faster? Karen, thanks for your question. Actually, we have many clients that came with us with a similar concern or challenges. They were having SCI running slowly. Some people complaining it was complex. And of course, we have to always look on a one-on-one basis what's going on with your system. But consistently, every client that we embraced that came from a similar challenge, we delivered reports running 10 seconds. Doesn't matter how much ton of data you have. Our system has been designed to run reports in seconds, regardless of how much data you have, regardless if you're bringing multi-company, if you have 2 companies, 5, 10, 50, or 100 companies, it doesn't matter. Our system delivers things very, very quickly. So overall, I would say, yes, our DataSelf will run much faster. I don't know how slow it is, but let's talk on a one-on-one basis to see what your scenario is and see if DataSelf is a good fit. And if it is, I can guarantee you, yes, it will run fast. Faster, I don't know how long it's taking, but it will run in less than 10 seconds. I hope that's fast enough for you. Another question. Question from Jack. Do you support Sage 500? Jack, thanks for your question. Yes, we do. Let me actually go here and, oopsie, show you in our website. If you go to the dataself.com and scroll down to these green buttons and click by ERP and CRM, you'll find here all the ERP and CRM systems we support out of the box. So this is the list of ERP and CRM systems, and Sage 500, it's right here. So yes, you can click here to learn more about it. Jack, thanks for your question. Question from Mike. We're testing Power BI for our Dynamics Nav or Navision. How does DataSelf compare with it? So Mike, you're asking to compare DataSelf with Power BI. I get this question a lot. Power BI is a great analytics platform. Let me go back here to the architecture. So Power BI is a kind of head-to-head competitor with Tableau. So my first consideration in your project is, as you're starting your BI project with Power BI, it's just like I was doing before. You're starting with your baby steps. You're using Power BI to probably do some tests, getting some reports and dashboards out of a few things, sales, financials, and whatnot. But I can guarantee you, months out, years out, you're going to be using a full-blown BI, maybe with Power BI or not, getting data from all over the place. And most likely, I can guarantee you'll need data warehousing, you'll need all this expertise, you'll need time, you'll need everything that I told you about. So first of all, regardless of being Power BI or DataSelf and Tableau, I think we should talk, because I can give you some pointers on how to make this journey more successful. And if DataSelf can help you, boy, I can guarantee you we'll make this much more successful, much more quickly. So first of all, we can help you anyway if you continue with Power BI or not. Now, maybe, let me go to my website here. And if you go to resources in demo videos, so go to resources demo videos, or go to our YouTube channel and search for this video here, which is called Power BI versus Tableau. If you go to YouTube and just search for Power BI versus Tableau, and I encourage you to search for Power BI versus Tableau Clash of the Titans. We have about 13 different videos, short videos that are comparing side-by-side Power BI and Tableau. Tableau is our chosen so far analytics platform. Both products are great, but Tableau has been around for much longer. It's a more scalable, more functional so far, faster, easier. They have been considered the gold standard for analytics for the last 5 years in a row by Gartner. So I highly encourage you to watch all of these videos to see or to help you decide if you should continue with Power BI or not. Absolutely, let's talk. I can also give you some insights based on your own requirements and your own needs, and give you a more customized assessment of what should be better for you from our perspective. But overall, these are the materials I would recommend. And definitely, I'll send you an email to get a call so we can discuss your needs in more detail. Mike, thanks for your question. Let's see more questions. I'm going to take one more question because we're starting to run out of time. Question from Olivia. How much training is required for DataSelf? Olivia, thanks for your question. Training. So training, it depends. We have. I'm gonna show you the extremes, and you might fall into any between these two extremes. There are DataSelf clients that we deploy the solution. We gave them a little tour for the testing of the data. We showed them our videos, training videos, and also Tableau training videos, and they took off. And they are doing a lot of things without any training from us. So I don't know how much training they went through using those videos or doing search on the internet, but there are clients and there are users that will be able to pick up this they'll be able to become self-sufficient without formal training. It's possible. We have many of those clients. On average, we budget 6 hours of training to teach our clients how to use the front end, Tableau, with the out of the box. So on average, we always budget 6 hours. But we also have some clients that want training across everything: data warehousing, data source BI from data sources, Tableau, server maintenance, Tableau customization, security, everything. And for those people, training sometimes is an ongoing thing. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with it that training is almost like never ending. There's always, every few months, there's new versions with new features. So it depends where you fall into this wide range of training. The majority of our clients, about 60 to 80%, 6 hours of training is enough for them to become self-sufficient on the user interface. The other 20, 30%, they require more training to do more of the back end. So training ranges from those two ends. Folks, we're running actually out of time. I'm going to be wrapping up right now, but I'll be answering other questions that I can tell that there's a few more on a one-on-one basis. This is my contact information, my cell phone, in my email. This video is being recorded. We'll be sending you a copy of the recording later on, including the PowerPoint. Feel free to share it with other people. If you go to our YouTube channel to watch it, and we have a lot of materials on our YouTube channel, I encourage you to like our videos, to make comments, give us feedback, subscribe. We're having a ton of traffic, and we really appreciate when people get value from our educational content as well as from our marketing and sales as we did today. I hope you have found this session informative. Thanks for joining us, and I'll pretty much be in contact with each one of you to discuss your interest in DataSelf. Also, be sure to answer the questionnaire at the end of the webinar. Folks, thank you very much. I hope you have a great Wednesday. Thank you.